Maya walked out of the nursing home just as the sun began to drop behind the buildings. She had spent the day helping elderly patients eat, taking notes for the head nurse, and calming one man who kept asking for his wife. She was tired, but she still smiled at the security guard on her way out. She liked to leave work with kindness, because she believed a small good moment could carry someone through a hard evening. The street outside was busy with after-work traffic. Cars moved slowly, and people hurried across the crosswalk with bags and coffee cups. Maya adjusted the strap of her plain brown purse and started toward the bus stop. She did not want to be late, because the next bus after this one always came too full. She also wanted to get home before her little brother finished his homework, because he liked when she checked it with him. As she walked, Maya passed a small park that sat between 2 blocks of shops. The grass was trimmed, and a few children played near the swings while their parents watched. A man sold roasted corn from a cart, and the smell floated across the sidewalk. Maya slowed down for a moment because the park reminded her of when she was younger. She used to come here with her mother on weekends. She used to think the world was simple, because her mother made it feel safe. Near the edge of the park, a police truck was parked beside the curb. A thick hose was attached to the back, the kind used for cleaning streets after events. Maya did not think much of it at first, because city workers used similar hoses too. Then she noticed the officer standing near the truck. His name tag said Ron. He was leaning in a lazy way, looking at his phone, tapping the screen like he had all the time in the world. Maya kept walking, eyes forward, mind on the bus schedule. She did not plan to speak to anyone. She was just another person on the sidewalk, heading home after work. But when she passed the truck, she heard a short laugh behind her. It was not a friendly laugh. It was the kind of laugh that tried to make someone feel small. Maya turned her head slightly and saw Ron looking directly at her. He lifted his chin as if he was daring her to react. Maya felt a knot form in her stomach. She had learned from experience that some people looked for trouble the way others looked for entertainment. She told herself to stay calm. She told herself to keep moving. Ron stepped closer to the hose handle. He did it slowly, like he was putting on a show for himself. A couple of teenagers nearby noticed and paused, their faces curious. A woman with a stroller glanced over and then looked away, like she did not want to be involved. Maya saw all of this in a flash. She felt the air shift, like a quiet warning. Then Ron turned the valve. A sudden spray of cold water shot out and splashed across Maya's jacket and the side of her face. It was not enough to knock her down, but it was enough to soak her and shock her. She gasped and stumbled back one step. Her purse swung forward and bumped her hip. Water ran down her sleeves and dripped from her hair. For a second, the world around her felt strangely still. The children in the park stopped laughing. The corn seller froze with his tongs in the air. One teenager lifted a phone, already recording. Maya stood there, wet and blinking, trying to understand what had just happened. Ron laughed again. He did not look sorry. He looked pleased, like he had just pulled off a clever prank. He said something under his breath that Maya did not repeat. His tone was sharp and mean, like he was testing how far he could go. Maya's heart beat fast. She felt the hot rush of embarrassment, the kind that makes the cheeks burn. But under that embarrassment was something stronger. It was the feeling of being disrespected for no reason. It was the feeling of being treated like she did not matter. Maya had felt that before in different ways, and she had promised herself she would never let it define her. She took one slow breath. She did not scream. She did not curse. She did not give Ron the reaction he wanted. Instead, she looked at him steadily. Her eyes were calm, but they were not soft. They were clear, like glass. Ron's laughter lowered a little. He seemed confused that she was not shouting. He shifted his weight, still holding the hose, waiting for her to fall apart. Maya understood something important in that moment. Some people do cruel things because they expect power to protect them. They believe their uniform is a shield against consequences. They believe silence from others is permission. Maya glanced around. People were watching. Some were uncomfortable. Some looked angry. Some looked scared. The teenager recording kept the phone steady. The corn seller looked as if he wanted to speak, but could not find the courage. Maya decided she would not let the moment pass like nothing happened. She reached into her purse, careful and slow, making sure her movements were clear. She did not want anyone to misunderstand her. She pulled out her phone first. Its screen was already on, because she had been checking the bus time earlier. Now she tapped one button and opened a recording app that she used for work notes. A small red light appeared on the screen. She held the phone at chest height, pointed toward Ron. Ron's smile twitched. He noticed the phone. He tried to act casual, but his eyes shifted quickly to the teenager's phone too. 2 cameras were now facing him. The air around him changed. He stopped laughing. Maya then pulled out a slim folder made of plastic. It was sealed to keep papers safe from rain, and now it also protected them from the water. She held it firmly with both hands. Inside were documents that looked ordinary at first glance. But Maya knew what they meant. They were not random papers. They were part of a project she had been helping with for months, something serious that required patience and care. Maya worked as a nurse assistant, but she also volunteered with a local community office that helped people file reports about unfair treatment. She was not a lawyer, and she was not trying to be famous. She simply believed people deserved respect, and she believed records mattered. Her volunteer team taught people how to document events properly, how to request camera footage legally, and how to speak in a way that could not be twisted. They always said the same thing. Stay calm, stay clear, stay honest. Maya looked at Ron and spoke in a steady voice. She asked for his badge number. She asked for his name again, even though it was on his tag. She asked why he used the hose on her. Her questions were simple. Her tone was controlled. She was not begging. She was not attacking. She was putting a light on the moment, so it could not hide in silence. Ron opened his mouth, then closed it. He looked around, noticing more people watching now. A man across the street had stopped and was staring. The woman with the stroller pulled out her phone too. Ron's shoulders tightened. He held the hose handle lower, like he wanted to pretend it was not in his hand. Maya kept her voice level. She said she was recording for her own safety. She said she would request the street camera footage from the city, because this area had public cameras. She said she would file a report with the department and with the community office that handled complaints. She did not threaten him. She simply explained the steps she would take. Ron's face changed. The careless look faded. The playful confidence slipped away like water draining into the gutter. For the first time, he looked uncertain. He glanced at the phones pointed at him, then at Maya's folder, then back at Maya's calm eyes. Maya stood still, wet but steady. Her jacket clung to her arms, and her hair dripped onto her collar. But she did not shrink. She did not act small. She held her phone like a simple tool, not a weapon. She held her folder like proof that she was prepared, not powerless. The bus stop sign stood a few steps away, and Maya could see her bus in the distance, turning the corner. She knew she might miss it. She knew she would go home late. But she also knew something else. If she walked away without speaking, Ron would do it again to someone else. Maybe not with a hose. Maybe with a different kind of cruelty. And the next person might not have the strength to stay calm. As the bus rolled closer, Maya made a choice. She stayed right there by the park. She kept recording. She kept her posture strong. She looked at Ron and waited for his answer. She was not there to fight. She was there to be heard. She was there to make sure the moment had a record, a witness, and a path forward. Maya remained standing near the park as the bus passed her by and disappeared down the street. She felt the cold water on her clothes drying slowly under the warm evening air, but she did not move from her place. The phones around her stayed raised, and the silence felt heavy, like everyone was waiting for the next breath. Ron finally cleared his throat and tried to speak with authority, but his voice did not sound confident anymore. He asked Maya why she was recording and told her she was making a big deal out of nothing. His words sounded weak, and even he seemed to know it. Maya listened without interrupting. When he finished, she calmly explained that recording in a public space was allowed. She said she was not trying to argue. She said she only wanted to understand why she was treated that way when she had done nothing wrong. People nearby nodded quietly. The teenager with the phone shifted closer. The corn seller put his cart aside and folded his arms. The woman with the stroller stood still, eyes fixed on the officer. Ron looked around again and realized the situation was no longer under his control. He lowered the hose completely and stepped back toward the truck. His face showed tension, not anger, but worry. Maya asked again for his badge number. This time, Ron answered. His voice was flat. He said the number clearly, knowing it was being recorded by more than one device. Maya thanked him and repeated the number out loud so it was captured clearly. She then stated the time and location in a calm tone. She explained she was doing this to keep her record accurate. She spoke like someone trained to stay clear under pressure. Ron shifted his feet and tried to change the subject. He said the water was meant for the sidewalk and that it was an accident. His explanation sounded rushed. Maya did not argue with him. She simply said the video would show whether it was an accident or not. She reminded him that the public camera on the street pole would also show the angle and timing. That was when Ron's shoulders dropped slightly. He looked tired suddenly, like someone who realized a mistake could not be taken back. Another officer arrived from across the street after noticing the crowd. His name tag read Sam. He walked over slowly and asked what was going on. Maya explained the situation in a simple way. She pointed to the water on her clothes. She pointed to the hose. She explained she had been walking home from work and was sprayed without warning. Sam listened carefully. He did not interrupt. He asked Ron if this was true. Ron hesitated, then nodded. He said it was meant as a joke and that it went too far. His voice was low. Sam frowned slightly and told Ron to step aside. He then turned to Maya and apologized for what had happened. His apology sounded real, not rushed. The people watching seemed to relax a little. Some lowered their phones, but most kept recording. The mood changed from shock to quiet focus. Sam asked Maya if she was okay. She said she was fine but shaken. She said her concern was not only about herself. She said she worried about how easily power could be misused. Sam nodded and said he understood. He told her she had every right to file a report. He said he would document the incident as well. Maya thanked him. She felt a small sense of relief, but she stayed alert. She knew that words mattered, but records mattered more. Sam asked Ron to turn off the truck and detach the hose. Ron obeyed without protest. The water supply stopped, and the street grew quiet again. Maya noticed her hands were trembling slightly now that the moment was slowing down. She steadied them by holding her phone with both hands. She reminded herself to breathe evenly. Sam asked Maya if she needed medical help. She said no, but she appreciated the concern. She explained she worked in healthcare and knew she was physically fine. The crowd slowly began to thin, but several people stayed nearby, clearly wanting to see how things ended. The teenager stepped closer to Maya and quietly said they had captured everything clearly. Maya thanked them with a small smile. Sam took down statements from a few witnesses. He asked Maya to describe what happened once more, starting from when she entered the park area. Maya did so carefully, choosing her words with precision. She avoided emotion and focused on facts. As she spoke, Ron stood near the truck, staring at the ground. He did not look angry anymore. He looked uncomfortable. Maya finished her statement and said she would also submit her recording and request camera footage the next day. Sam said that would be helpful. The bus stop was empty now, and the streetlights had turned on. Maya realized it would be a long wait for the next bus. She texted her brother to let him know she would be late. He replied with a simple message asking if she was okay. Maya typed back that she was fine and would explain later. She put her phone away but kept the recording saved. Sam told Maya she could leave if she wanted, but she chose to wait until everything was written down. She wanted to be sure nothing was missed. Ron finally looked up and spoke again. He said he did not mean to cause trouble. His voice was quieter, almost unsure. Maya looked at him and said she believed everyone could make mistakes. She said what mattered was taking responsibility and learning from them. Her words surprised Ron. He nodded slowly but did not respond. After the reports were finished, Sam thanked Maya again for her patience. He gave her a card with a case number and contact information. He said the department would review the incident. Maya accepted the card and placed it carefully into her folder. She felt the weight of the day settle on her shoulders. She was exhausted, but she also felt steady. The next bus finally arrived. Maya boarded it and found a seat near the window. As the bus pulled away, she looked back at the park. The swings were empty now. The corn cart was gone. The street looked ordinary again, like nothing important had happened. But Maya knew better. She knew moments like these mattered, even when they faded from view. She rested her head against the window and closed her eyes for a second. She did not feel proud. She did not feel victorious. She felt calm. She felt certain she had done the right thing. As the bus carried her home through the city lights, Maya thought about how many people stayed silent every day. She hoped her choice would remind someone else that calm courage could change a moment. She stepped off the bus near her apartment and walked toward home, still wearing damp clothes, but holding something stronger inside her. The next morning Maya woke up before her alarm because her mind would not rest. She sat up slowly and listened to the quiet apartment while her damp jacket hung near the window to dry. She made tea and checked her phone, and she saw that the video had already been shared by someone who was at the park. She felt her stomach tighten because she knew attention could be loud and messy, even when the truth was simple. She reminded herself that she did not share the video for drama, she shared it for clarity. She opened a notebook and wrote down the exact timeline again, starting from when she left work to when she reached the bus stop. She did this because she had learned that strong records stay strong when they are organized. At the nursing home, Maya tried to focus on her patients like she always did. She helped Mr. Lee eat his breakfast, she adjusted blankets for a woman who liked her room warm, and she smiled when a quiet patient finally laughed at a small joke. Still, she noticed staff whispering in corners, and she noticed phones being checked more than usual. Her supervisor Lena pulled her aside and asked if she was okay. Maya said she was fine and explained that she had reported the incident properly and calmly. Lena nodded and said Maya handled it with more strength than most people could. Maya appreciated the support, but she also asked Lena to keep things professional, because Maya did not want her work to turn into gossip. During lunch break, Maya went outside and called the community office where she volunteered. A coordinator named Ben answered, and his voice turned serious the moment Maya shared the case number and the location. Ben told her to save all files in 2 places and to write a short statement that stayed only with facts. He reminded her not to argue online and not to respond to strangers who tried to provoke her. Maya agreed, because she knew the internet could twist even the clearest story. Ben also told her to request the public camera footage through the normal city process. Maya thanked him and felt calmer, because a plan always made fear feel smaller. After work, Maya walked to the city building where public records could be requested. She filled out a form for camera footage from the street pole near the park and from the nearby shop cameras that faced the sidewalk. The clerk stamped the paper and gave her a receipt with a date for follow-up. Maya placed the receipt in her folder beside the card Sam had given her. She noticed her hands no longer shook as much. She realized her body was learning that she was safe when she stayed steady. 2 days later, Maya received a call from Sam. Sam told her the department had opened a formal review and that she might be asked to give a statement in person. Maya said she was willing and asked if she could bring a support person from the community office. Sam said that was allowed and that it was smart to feel supported. Maya thanked him for speaking clearly. She could tell Sam was careful with his words, and she respected that. When the day came, Maya met Ben outside the building. Ben did not talk much, but his calm presence helped. They walked through security and sat in a waiting room with pale walls and old chairs. Maya watched the clock and practiced slow breathing. She was not scared of telling the truth, but she knew the process could be tiring. She reminded herself that fairness often moves slowly. A supervisor named Kelly invited them into a small room. Kelly introduced herself, explained the process, and said Maya could take breaks if needed. Maya appreciated the respect and said she was ready. She repeated her statement, describing the hose, the water, the officer's behavior, and the reactions of the witnesses. She also explained that she stayed calm, asked for the badge number, and recorded in a public space. Kelly listened and took notes, and Ben asked only a few short questions to make sure details were clear. Maya handed over a copy of her recording and the witness contact list that the teenager had shared with her later. Kelly thanked Maya and said the department would compare her statement with camera footage and other reports. After the meeting, Maya felt drained, like her body had been carrying a heavy bag all week. Ben bought her a bottle of water, and they sat outside for a few minutes. Ben told her something important in a simple way. Ben said that when people speak calmly with proof, systems have less room to ignore them. Maya nodded and stared at the street, thinking about how many people never get that chance. She hoped her choice would help more than just her own case. That evening, Maya's brother asked what happened, and Maya told him the truth in gentle words. She did not want him to grow up fearful, but she also did not want him to believe the world was always fair. She told him that respect should be normal, and that when respect is missing, people should use safe steps to protect themselves. Her brother listened quietly and then hugged her without speaking. Maya held him and felt a warm ache in her chest, because family comfort can heal places that logic cannot reach. A week later, Maya received the city camera footage. The clip showed the officer turning toward her, lifting the hose, and spraying her as she walked past. It also captured his laughter and the sudden pause of people nearby. Maya watched the clip once, then saved it, then stopped watching. She did not want to relive the moment over and over. She only wanted the truth to be clear. The community office helped her prepare a clean file with the footage, the timeline, the witness notes, and the case numbers. Ben reminded Maya again not to chase comments online. Maya followed that advice, even when her phone buzzed with messages from unknown people. Some messages were kind, and some were not. Maya answered only the ones from people she trusted. She spent the rest of her time living her real life, because she refused to let one bad moment steal every good one. Sam called again near the end of the month. Sam said the review found that Ron's actions were not acceptable and did not match department rules. Sam said Ron would be removed from certain duties and required to complete training and supervised community work. Maya listened without celebrating and without anger. She said she was glad the department took it seriously. She also said she hoped the changes would be real, not just words on paper. A few days later, Maya returned to the park, not because she had to, but because she wanted to take her own space back. She walked the same sidewalk and listened to the sounds of the city. Children played again, and the corn seller was back with his cart. The air smelled sweet and warm, like ordinary life returning. Maya sat on a bench and watched the light move through the trees. She realized she was not thinking about Ron anymore. She was thinking about the people who had raised their phones, the officer who had listened, and the small power of calm truth. As Maya stood to leave, she saw Ron across the street with another worker, carrying boxes into a community center. He looked different, quieter, and he did not meet her eyes at first. Then he glanced up and nodded once, small and uncertain. Maya did not nod back with pride or anger. She simply acknowledged the moment by walking forward without fear. She understood that accountability is not about making someone smaller, it is about making the future safer. She left the park with her shoulders relaxed, knowing she had done what she could, and knowing her calm response had turned an unfair moment into a lesson that could not be ignored. Maya kept visiting the park in the evenings, not because she wanted attention, but because she wanted peace. She wanted her mind to connect that place with normal life again. She walked past the trees, the benches, and the corner where the hose had sprayed her. She did not force herself to feel brave, she simply chose to keep moving. Each step felt like a quiet message to herself that she still belonged in every public space. The city moved on quickly, but Maya noticed small changes in how people looked at her. Some strangers smiled with respect when they recognized her face from the video. A few people tried to talk to her like she was a symbol instead of a person. Maya did not like that feeling, because she was not trying to become famous. She was only trying to protect her dignity and help the next person feel safer. At work, the nursing home settled into its usual rhythm again. Patients needed help, families visited, and nurses moved through the halls with tired but steady steps. Maya returned to the habits that kept her grounded. She checked charts carefully, she listened when patients needed to talk, and she treated each person with the same calm respect she wanted for herself. She learned that healing did not always happen in big moments, it often happened in small repeated actions. One afternoon, Lena invited Maya into the office for a quick conversation. Lena said the nursing home had received a letter from a local community group thanking Maya for her calm courage. Lena asked if Maya wanted the letter posted on the staff board. Maya thought for a moment, then said no. She said she wanted the focus to stay on patient care, not on her personal story. Lena respected that choice and placed the letter in Maya's file as a private note instead. Ben from the community office called Maya later that week. Ben said other people had begun to file reports after seeing Maya stay calm and organized. Ben said the office planned to host a free workshop on safe documentation and respectful communication. Ben asked Maya if she wanted to speak for 5 minutes about keeping records and staying steady. Maya felt nervous because she did not enjoy public speaking. She also understood that a simple message could help someone who felt powerless. She agreed, as long as Ben kept it small and practical. On the day of the workshop, Maya wore a plain sweater and simple shoes. She arrived early and helped arrange chairs in a small room at the community center. People began to enter quietly, some with tired faces and some with hopeful eyes. Maya noticed a young mother holding a notebook and an older man holding a folded paper like it mattered deeply. She realized many people carried stories that never reached the public. She felt a gentle pressure in her chest, but she stayed calm. Ben introduced Maya in a short, respectful way. Maya stood in front of the room and looked at the faces. She spoke slowly, choosing words that were simple and clear. She said that staying calm did not mean accepting unfair treatment. She said calmness could be a tool that protected a person from being misunderstood. She said records help the truth stay strong when emotions rise. She said it was wise to ask for help from trusted people instead of arguing with strangers online. After her short talk, several people came up to thank her. Maya listened more than she spoke. One woman said she always thought she had to shout to be taken seriously. Maya said a steady voice can be louder than shouting when it is supported by facts. Another man said he was afraid to file a report because he thought nobody would listen. Maya said some systems move slowly, but clear records give them less room to ignore. Maya could tell her words did not fix everything, but they gave people a small sense of direction. Outside the community center, Maya saw Ron again. He was wearing a plain shirt and carrying cleaning supplies with a supervisor nearby. He was part of the supervised community work the department had assigned him. He did not look like the man who laughed by the truck. He looked smaller, not in body, but in posture. He kept his eyes low as he worked, and he moved carefully as if he knew many people were watching. Maya did not approach him. She did not want a dramatic scene. She understood that accountability did not require public conflict. Still, Ron noticed her when he turned to place a box on a shelf. His hands paused for a moment. His face held a mix of embarrassment and worry. Ron took one step toward Maya and then stopped. His supervisor looked at him, then looked away, giving him space without words. Ron spoke quietly and said he was sorry for what he did. His voice was not loud, and he did not try to explain it away. He said he had been careless and cruel and thought he could treat someone like a joke. He admitted he was wrong. Maya listened without anger and without triumph. She did not forgive him with a speech, and she did not punish him with harsh words. She simply said that what he did was not a joke and should never happen again. She said she hoped he would learn from it in a real way. Ron nodded, and his eyes looked wet, not from water this time, but from shame and pressure. He thanked her for being honest and stepped back to continue his work. Maya walked home afterward feeling a strange calm. The moment did not erase what happened, but it closed a door that had been left open in her mind. She realized she did not need to carry the incident every day like a heavy bag. She could keep the lesson and release the weight. She could stay aware without staying trapped. Weeks passed, and the public attention faded. Maya liked that. She returned to regular life, helping her brother with homework, cooking simple dinners, and watching quiet shows when she had time. She kept volunteering with Ben's office on weekends. She helped people fill out forms, organize files, and understand basic steps for complaints and follow-up. She did not promise quick results, but she offered steady support. One evening, Maya's brother asked why she stayed calm that day at the park. He said he would have wanted to yell. Maya told him it was normal to feel angry when treated unfairly. She told him her calm was not weakness, it was control. She said control keeps a person safe and keeps the truth clear. Her brother nodded and said he wanted to learn that skill too. Maya smiled, because that was the kind of change that mattered most to her. The next month, the city announced a new set of reminders for officers about respectful conduct in public spaces. The announcement did not mention Maya by name. It talked about training and community trust in simple official language. Maya read it and felt a quiet satisfaction. She knew it did not fix everything, but it showed movement. It showed that one recorded moment could push a system to look at itself. On a cool evening, Maya returned to the park with a small bag of bread for the birds near the pond. The sky turned soft orange, and the air smelled clean. Children laughed again, and parents chatted on benches. The corn seller waved at Maya, and she waved back. The sidewalk felt normal, and that normal feeling was a gift. Maya sat on a bench and watched the city lights begin to glow. She thought about the night she missed her bus, the night she went home damp and tired, and the night she chose to stay steady. She understood that courage is not always loud. Sometimes courage is a calm voice, a clear record, and a decision not to shrink. Maya stood up, brushed her hands on her jeans, and walked toward home with a steady pace. The park remained behind her, peaceful and ordinary, and she carried forward the quiet truth that dignity can be protected without losing kindness.